Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the show. We got a good one today. First off, Kyle Richards of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills denied this past week that she's had a tummy tuck. We're going to talk about that. Also, in the signs to tell if you think someone might have had plastic surgery. And then next, there's another plastic surgeon in hot water, and this time it is serious. Lastly, Sarah's going to talk about Paris Fashion Week 2023, and it's coming up right now.
Nip Talk, an honest and uncensored show about plastic surgery, health, beauty, and lifestyle with your host, plastic surgeon Dr. Bruce Hermann, and your co-host, entrepreneur and social media influencer Sarah Bennett. Now it's time to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of the topics everyone is talking about. It's time for Nip Talk.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. As always, I am your host, plastic surgeon Dr. Bruce Hermann. With me, co-host Sarah Bennett. What's up, Sarah?
Hi.
In the box, as always, is the man, the legend, Travis. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's doing good. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please, if you like the show, like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're watching live or on recording, please leave us a comment. If you have any questions about the show, we would love to hear from you, and we will answer those either live or on a future show. So, how's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. It's Friday, so
Friday's always good,
I can
right?
definitely
So
feel
yeah, we're
week.
running a little bit late. There was a big show in here, Travis. Was that Mark Cuban in here that was here before us?
Was it more? Your eyes are better than mine.
I think it was, man. It's the cubes. We should have got like a selfie, man. Anyway, but so sorry we're running a little bit late, but you know, these things happen and the show will go on. So you guys having a good week? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, it's busy.
Busy? Mine was busy too. Man, my Thursday, Friday, and then tomorrow is like crazy. So I end up doing a lot of my show prep on Thursday. You know, it's like I start researching on Monday and Tuesday and then start putting things together. And then Thursday I do a lot of the work. Well, we had some family in town, and the only day they could all get together was Thursday. And it was like, okay, they want me to cook a dinner. So like last night I made this like huge dinner for everyone. And then, and of course I had like, you know, part of the show to finish. Well, I was like really wiped out, so I didn't quite finish it. So I got up this morning at 5, finished the show stuff. Then I had a 6:30 meeting at the hospital, and then I had an 8 o'clock case, which was about a 4-hour case. Finished at noon, came down here for the show at 1. And then as soon as I get down here, I got to go to the other hospital because I got a case at 3. And then we got like dinner reservations at 6. Then we're supposed to go to a party tonight late, which my wife says we're not going to make. No, I think we're going to make it. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not surprised if y'all don't make it.
I don't
It sounds
know.
like a busy day.
Sounds
is.
like I need a nap just like hearing.
Just like hearing about it.
that.
Facts.
I don't know. I like it
Facts.
though. You know, it's funny because if I don't, so I guess it was it this Monday? I think it was this Monday. Yeah. I had a big case scheduled and my patient got the flu. And the patient reached out to me over the weekend and they were like, look, I had the flu and like, oh, we're gonna have to cancel your case. So Monday, like I didn't really have a whole lot to do and it felt weird. Like I almost don't feel normal if I'm not like running around crazy. Like it's like, wow, this is unusual. I don't know. I'm probably gonna be bad when I retire.
I don't have that problem.
You don't?
No.
I feel weird if I'm not doing something.
I mean, maybe for like a prolonged amount of time for sure, but like if
I'm
I
like
have
1 or 2 days, and I'm like,
yeah, if I have like one or 2 days, that's good. But
yeah.
if I'm, you know, I usually
You're not
don't.
looking for stuff to do.
No.
I appreciate that though. That's cool.
I like a rest day.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
appreciate it.
Did you guys watch the Cowboys game on Sunday?
I did.
It was sad.
It was
Travis,
sad.
now, Travis, is one of the shows you do a sports show or is it more talk? I thought you have a couple radio shows, right?
Oh, you mean like the radio?
Yeah, your shows. Like your
Yeah.
shows.
Well, so the radio show that I do is more like hip hop.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, no.
I apologize. I
You
thought-
are good.
I was looking for some sports analyst kind of information from you about why the Cowboys lost outside of they just lost.
We do have a sports guy on there. He was basically saying that they can expect like some changes in like the coaching staff.
Freaking that kicker, man.
Oh yeah, I heard the kicker's really
He
bad.
did not make any.
Really?
Maybe
So-
he made one, but he didn't make any this game. And then the last game, he didn't make any.
Oh man,
I
that's
think
bad.
Prescott was. pretty annoyed. Even though we won the last one.
Yeah, right.
Every
But
time
still,
they,
you don't want to have to like
him.
feel like your kicker can't like come through for you. Yeah, that's
yeah. If you're depending on your kicker.
I mean,
for those
surely
goals.
we can find a kicker, right? Can't we get one of those World Cup guys or something?
Fun fact:
gosh.
my second cousin was a kicker for the longest time for the NFL.
Really?
His name's Matt Bryant. He has the longest field goal in
Get
history.
out. That's really cool.
He's been a kicker for the longest time.
Learned
the
a
last
new
time
fact about Sarah today.
Last time, I think the last team he played for were the Buccaneers.
Cool. Right
He's
on.
an old guy. I mean, old for football.
Yeah, because you can be an old kicker. Like,
Yeah.
the kickers aren't like taking these punishing hits. So, like, I mean, you could probably kick into your 50s if you wanted.
I only met him once, though. So.
So that's cool. All right, well, let's move on to the segments. So, do you guys ever watch the Real Housewives series?
No.
Have you ever watched it, Travis?
I've watched it before. Yeah.
Have you?
So you've talked about him a lot, but that's because I think all of them just have a lot of plastic surgery.
Well, I mean, some of the shows are kind of a train wreck, and like it can be kind of a guilty pleasure to watch like a train wreck. And then also too, like I always like watching the shows because they always do some really cool stuff. Like, oh, they're jumping on their private jet and they're going to Aspen and they're doing this.
You got
and
a fancy life.
it's so fancy, and I'm like, dude, I want to do that stuff. And so, I kind of enjoy watching it. And so, I know, some of the girls. I don't, know all about them or know them personally, but you hear about a lot of these girls. And so, Kyle Richards, who was on the original Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, was kind of in the news this past week because she's on Instagram a lot. And but before I jump into that, have you guys heard of Kyle Richards?
I've definitely seen her before.
Seen her?
Yeah, I've seen her before as
So
well.
I have a
She
trivia
looks
question for you guys, and I feel like you're not going to get it because you guys. I thought maybe you would be like secret Real Housewives of Beverly Hills super fans or something. I didn't know. So she was actually a child actor. Can you guys name the show that she was on by chance?
So
What?
is this the picture?
That's the picture.
Okay, I just want to put it on.
Is that Little House on the Prairie?
Boom!
Yeah, I was about to
Sarah,
say.
look at you.
I wanted to put it on equal playing grounds.
He's very, very good.
Yeah,
So she was
yeah.
Alicia Sanderson, which was, I guess, like a neighbor child. I mean, I never liked that show, so I've watched those
My
old shows.
sisters were obsessed with that show.
Really, I think my wife really
I
liked
thought
that
it was
show,
so
but I
boring.
can't remember. I think she liked it. I didn't like the show. It was a little too campy for me. I liked other stuff, but I mean I probably remember seeing that character. Sometimes I did watch it, but yeah, she was on Little House on the Prairie
Yeah.
for years and years. So anyway, all right. So back to the what she was in the news for. So she's 54 years old. She's had 4 kids.
Yeah.
And she posted on Instagram a picture this past week. Travis, can you throw it up there? Yeah. So she posted this picture, and like in the comments, it all erupted about that she's had a tummy tuck. And so, it wasn't just like one person. Like there was apparently a ton of people. This is her Instagram picture, by the way, that were saying, oh, Kyle's had this tummy tuck. When did you have your tummy tuck? When did you have your tummy tuck? And so she actually came out and denied. She's like, no, I haven't had a tummy tuck. And so, I thought it was kind of interesting because when you look at that picture and you realize that one, she's 54 years old, but more importantly that she's had 4 kids, it wouldn't be unusual to think that maybe she had. In fact, I would think that, given that information and looking at this picture, I would say that almost certainly a person had, because having 4 children does do things to your abdomen that you can't fix on your own. Like you can go to the gym every day for, of the year forever, and things like rectus diastasis, which was where your abdominal wall stretches out, or loose skin just won't go away. Like you just can't do anything about that. And so I was like, well, I'm going to look into this. And so I actually zoomed in on the picture, and I want to show me that. Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is her bikini strap, right there, that black and then the gold. And you see that little line just to the right of that black strap? Can you see it? I mean,
yeah, I can see it.
That could be just the way her skin looks. I mean, it could potentially be a stretch mark, or it could be a scar for a tummy tuck. So, knowing what I know about, what people look like after 4 kids, and knowing what a tummy tuck scar, where it would be, I mean, I'm not saying she's had a tummy tuck, but I'm not convinced she hasn't, because she looks amazing. And granted, I'm sure she works out all the time, and she's got, people that help her train and whatnot, but there are things that you can't get without a tummy tuck. And so I wouldn't be surprised if she has had one.
I'd like to see her like not laying on
Flat.
her back. And
Right.
And then she's obviously sucking in her stomach and like arching her back.
Maybe.
And all
I mean,
that.
you're very right. It could be a completely posed picture, you know, that
it's definitely
she doesn't
posed.
look as good, you know, normally as she does in that picture, because she looks amazing in that picture. I mean, just outstanding. So what's funny though is, like, you know, because she denied that she'd had one, but she has had plastic surgery. The funny part about that though is she actually got outed about having plastic surgery. She didn't tell anyone she had, and I got a little video clip here, so roll that clip. This is Andy Cohen from Watch What Happens, outing her.
Breast reduction working out.
Oh, thank you for letting everyone know, Andy. Thank you.
Oh my God! I thought you've talked about it.
Never talk.
No.
By the way,
But you've told me about it so many times. I'm so sorry.
I text Andy all the time. I'm just gonna say this. I never told anybody.
I am so.
I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, it's kind of, you know, obviously a serious situation if somebody's outed about, you know, their surgeries. But what it does show is that she's not like really forthcoming about having plastic surgery, right? Because she didn't tell people she's had a breast reduction, and it just kind of came out, you know. And I don't think that was scripted. I mean, maybe not. I mean,
Yeah.
Who knows? But, you know, it's possible that she's had one. I'm not sure. Like, it's a really good question. You'd have to like see some. I actually flipped through her Insta because, like, well, I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find a bikini pic of her straight on, because it's kind of hard to hide that abdominoplasty incision if you're wearing something really skimpy. But there was no pictures that showed what I needed to see. Which,
Yeah, I mean, she looks very full figured, anyways. At least in that. I mean, her chest does.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, she had a breast reduction, so
Okay.
yeah. But anyway, I found it interesting. I'm not convinced she hasn't had a tummy tuck.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you for sure she has. I can just tell you that having 4 kids and looking like that is, she's either had a tummy tuck or she is just a, you know, 1 in a million, you know, having 4 kids and looking that awesome. Because once again, it's not about working out. So,
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to kind of on that like line of have people had plastic surgery. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about the things that I as a plastic surgeon look for a few surgeries.
Right.
You know, because I as a plastic surgeon can pick out people that have had plastic surgery easier than the average person. So, you know, just for fun, I would talk about some of the things that I look at. So I did bring some pictures, and hold on before you throw up the first one there. But the first one I did want to talk about was tummy tuck, right?
Okay.
Because that's what she's had. So the things that I look for to tell someone had plastic surgery, first is, are any scars visible? Okay, that's the first thing I look for. 2 is the appearance unexpected. So in this case, with her, I would say yes, it is. She's 54. She's had 4 kids. Would you expect her to look like that? The answer is no. And so, you know, common things are common. Is it more common that she's 1 in a million, or is it more common she had a tummy tuck? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I do a tummy tuck every week. You know, that's what I was doing before I came here. So they are very common. So for tummy tucks, and I did bring like a before and, or I think I don't know if it's a before and after, just an after. Travis, if you can throw up that next one. So I brought this picture, and this is pretty recent after surgery, because if it gets too far out, the scar kind of really fades. But that's where the scar would be for a tummy tuck, you know, there on the right side. And you can see that there's a scar on the belly button, which I couldn't see her belly button in that picture, so I couldn't tell. But that scar you see follows where that bikini line was. And so you can kind of like imagine, you know, what you would kind of pick out if you were trying to tell if someone had a tummy tuck. You know, 1, do they have an unexpected result? You know, like somebody that's had a lot of kids and looks really flat. And 2, can you see a scar? Not everybody runs around in a bikini, right? A lot of people, you know, are very modest and they're all covered up. But for tummy tucks, you know, looking at scars, and also, you know, kind of knowing if that person's had a lot of kids, and if they look perfectly flat, then maybe they have on Spanx or something like that. But it's possible that they've had a tummy tuck. So kind of the next one that, you know, is really common as far as talking about is breast augmentations. So with the breast augmentation, what I look for to tell if somebody's had it is, you see in the right picture how the breast at the top has a curve. You know, on the left side, it almost looks like a ski slope. That's a very natural looking breast, you know, very normal looking breast. On the right side, you have this very rounded curve, and that's the telltale sign. Now, if you're wearing a bra, you can get that look with a good push-up bra, but you can't get it out of clothes. So like seeing that if somebody's like in a bra, it's like not necessarily telltale, but out of clothes, like you can look at that person on the right versus the person on the left and say, oh, you know, that's definitely an augmentation. Next one, so this is a person that's had a bunch of kids, and look how full the breasts are. Like they're very kind of full, they're all filled out. And to me, if I saw that person and knowing that, they were a little bit older and had some kids, I'd be like, they've obviously had an augmentation. It doesn't look bad at all. In fact, I think, the shape of the breast looks very good. But to me, it's kind of classic. That's a breast augmentation. The next one, so this is a patient that really didn't have hardly any breast tissue at all, and the implants make up the majority of the volume. And to me, I can just look at that and be like, yep, those are implants. Because the way I describe that is almost like it's like a cantaloupe on the chest. Like it's just so rounded. Like natural breasts are just not that rounded. And although I look at that and think, oh, it looks, good or it looks very, aesthetically pleasing, to me, it's obviously implants. And then the last, sorry?
I said yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the last patient, this is what somebody looks like if they haven't had kids and they get an augmentation. So when I look at this, the first thing I notice is it almost looks like the breasts look tense, like that they're almost tight. And the reason for that is when people get breast implants and they haven't had kids, their skin's not stretched out. And they get this almost more tight look to the breast. And it's not like anything about, the way it's done. I mean, most people who have not had kids and they get implants get this kind of really tense, rounded look, and that's the reason, because their breasts haven't undergone those kind of increase in size and then decrease in size. So yeah, that's kind of like for breast augmentation. I'll tell you, in close, it can be really, really hard to tell. But the one way you can like have some idea is it unexpected for that person to have breasts like that? If you see somebody that's like 5'4" and they weigh 90 pounds and they have a D-cup breast in their clothes, you can just kind of assume that they've had implants. And for if you're not somebody that has implants, let me just tell you, there are a ton of people running around with implants. Like in our friends group, almost everyone has one.
Yeah.
They're just very, very common, at least here where we are in Dallas. All right, so facelift is the next one. So with facelift, the scars run around the ear, and I'll tell you, those scars heal so well that I've had patients come in and I have to ask them if they had a facelift, because even though I know where to look for the scars, they heal so well and they hide right at the border of the ear that a lot of times, unless something happened where they didn't heal well, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Once again, you kind of go to, is it an unexpected result? Like if somebody's 75 and they look 50, either they're doing a lot of laser treatments or they're a freak of nature, or maybe they had a facelift. But there is one thing that can go wrong with a facelift that you can pick out pretty quickly. And I've seen people like this, and actually I've been like, oh, well, I didn't say you've had a facelift, but in my mind I'm like, they've had a facelift. And that's a pixie ear. And I pulled this off. I haven't actually had a patient have a pixie ear. This Dr. James Pearson is a Beverly Hills facial plastic surgeon. He's very well respected. And this was on his webpage, and he actually corrected it that this person had surgery somewhere else and then came to Dr. Pearson to get it fixed. So the picture on the left is a pixie ear, and you see how the ear is almost pulled downwards? Like it looks like it's almost under an undue stress there at the very bottom of the lobe.
Yeah, like she has like her lobe isn't connected.
It's like it's attached, but it's also pulled.
Yeah.
So that's classic pixie ear, and there's a way when you do facelift to prevent that from happening. But sometimes you get careless surgeons, and they get these pixie ears, and then they have to be corrected. And he did a great job. That's a very nice revision of pixie ear. But if you see that look on the left, but look, you can't see the scars otherwise, right? Like look at that picture on the left.
Yeah, and then some people's ears are just like that. Like some people don't have like.
They have attached lobes.
Yeah.
But notice that it almost looks pulled down, though. That's the difference between a pixie ear and an attached lobe. So
I wouldn't have known.
So the other surgeries like liposuction, almost impossible to tell. If you saw somebody like in a bikini, the thing to look for would be for scars, but they're only about like that big. They're like, I make like 1 centimeter or sometimes ½ centimeter incisions for lipo. So lipo, it's like really, really hard to tell.
I have a question too.
Yeah, man.
When you are like getting a facelift, what exactly is that process? Like, what are you doing? Are you like cutting and stretching?
Yeah, there's two parts of it. So you make the incisions around the ear. It's on the front and the back side, and you're opening up the area in between the skin and the fat layer and the deeper muscle layers of the face, and the same thing in the neck. Skin and the fat and the platysma muscle, which is that muscle right there. You're separating those layers, and then you're tightening that layer on the inside, the fascia or the muscle with suture to kind of pull it in a direction back and up. And then once you do that, like you're gonna have way more skin. So after you do that in the face and then do that in the neck, then you pull the skin in the same vector, which is up and back, and then you trim the skin. So you're tightening the inside part, and then you're tightening the outside part, which is the skin.
Sure.
And they're great surgeries. I specialize in breast and body, but I still do facelifts pretty commonly. I don't advertise as like, oh, come get your facelift from me, but I have so many patients that a lot of times patients that I did other things or done other things for will be like, hey, can you do a facelift? I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not out there like, hustling to get them, but I can do them because they're pretty straightforward surgeries, to be honest. Yeah.
How long do they last?
So I tell everybody the same thing about facelift and neck lift. If you're gonna get a facelift and neck lift, it doesn't stop the clock, but it turns back the clock. So say you look 65, you get a facelift, you might look 50. But then time will still march forward, but you've reset the clock like 10 or 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So the last one I was going to talk about was rhinoplasty. Now, you cannot see the scars on rhinoplasty. It's just impossible to see. The only way you can really tell if somebody's had a rhinoplasty is if you've seen them before and you see them after. And my favorite person that got a rhinoplasty, throw it up there, Travis, if you would, is our girl, Jennifer Aniston. Which she's a beautiful woman even before she had a rhinoplasty, but you can see that her nose looks completely different on the left versus the right. And the only thing that really would do that is rhinoplasty, and she's been open about the fact that she's had a rhinoplasty. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are some of the common surgeries that people, will say, oh, is that person had a facelift? Is that person had a breast dog?
Yeah.
And so I just want to go over things that I look for because it can be hard to tell, and in close it can be super hard to tell. But,
Yeah.
All right, very good. I haven't had any plastic surgery. No,
I
not
feel
yet.
like I'm a better judge of plastic surgery at this point now.
Dude, I feel like you could be out there like teaching people.
Yeah,
Travis.
facts.
Like
I'll be
both
like,
you
yeah,
guys. Yeah.
yep, I see it on you. I see it on you.
I see it. I know. All right. Well, moving on to the next segment. I swear we can't go 2 weeks without talking about some plastic surgeon that's in like a lot of trouble, can we?
Right.
I mean, it's just been crazy. And once again, we don't talk about these things to, kick people when they're down, but I mean, it is things that are in the news. It's related to the field. And so we have another plastic surgeon that really is kind of allegedly made a mistake. And this is a Dr. Moore out of Utah. Have you guys heard about this guy? It was in the news the past week.
I don't think so.
Get a load of this. This is almost hard to believe. So Dr. Moore is a plastic surgeon out in Utah, and him and his employees are basically under investigation and being charged by the federal government for conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government and disposal of U.S. government property. And you know what they did? So he works at this Plastic Surgery Institute, which is in Sandy, Utah, which is outside of Salt Lake City. And what they were doing is they signed up to be a place that would administer COVID shots, okay? Which is really weird because I never in a million years would be like, oh, come to my plastic surgery office to get a COVID shot. Like, who would do
Like,
that?
it's like because they're in the middle of nowhere because it's Utah?
No, it's like right outside Salt Lake. No, and there's gonna be more primary care doctors than there are plastic surgeons, right?
Yeah.
So like there's gonna be people to do it.
It's weird.
So that's really weird, right? But what they did is they were basically having people come in and they'd take the vial of vaccine and they'd squirt it down the sink and then they would give them a vaccination card. And what they were doing is at first they were advertising that, hey, if you want a vaccination card for whatever reason, come to us and we'll give you the vaccination card, but we won't actually give you the vaccine.
Oh, for like those people that like don't want it, but they
Right.
have to get it. with,
Yes,
like, a card.
right. So they actually ordered 2,000 doses of vaccine along with the cards. And what's even worse, and this part really kind of like angered me a bit, when parents wanted their kids to have a vaccination card, in order to trick the kids, they actually gave them shots of saline. Like instead of drawing up the vaccination, they drew up saline and then injected the child with just absolutely nothing so that the child would believe that they'd had a vaccination. Like is that not messed up? Like, I mean, because that's like
so
doing a
weird.
procedure for no reason.
Right.
I mean, that's just great. I just can't even fathom that.
Well, that's also a parent, an adult.
I know,
thinking
right? I mean,
that.
there's just a lot of wrong going on there. The wrong of the parent for wanting to do that, to trick your child into having that they've had a vaccine.
Right.
And then also for a doctor to do that, it's mind blowing. And like, as we talked about with the vaccines last week or the week before, I can't remember, were we just talking about vaccines? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like really a middle of the road guy with vaccines. I really am. Like I took my COVID vaccine, willingly. No one forced me to do it. At the time, I thought it was the right thing to do. As time has gone on, the vaccines have become less effective. And there's some minor things that can happen with taking vaccines, which are normal with all vaccines. So, whether or not I get another booster, I really haven't decided yet. My wife and I were just talking about that. She's kind of like the same way. She's like, well, COVID's not as severe as it was, and the vaccine's not as effective. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So I'm not like on either camp of like, oh, vaccines are the best or vaccines are terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do have a real issue with what they were doing. I mean, that's
really
just
weird.
wrong. Like
Hopefully he'll get his doctor, like his license.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Like Hippocratic Oath stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So these guys paid about $28,000 for the vaccines, and through this scam, which I'm going to call it a scam, they made about $100,000. And what they did is, as at first, this is the crazy part, they were like openly announcing that they were giving away vaccine cards without people getting the vaccine. And then they went to like a referral only. So it's like if you went and had this done, in order for me to get in, you had to vouch for me. Like you'd be like, oh, I know Bruce, he's cool. Like I'll let them.
Like
but
word of mouth.
word of mouth, that's
yeah.
right. But what ended up happening is the FBI heard about it, and they had an FBI undercover agent go through and do it. And that's how they got busted. And so, I mean, my whole question in this thing is, I mean, WTF, right? I mean, what in the world were they thinking like that? They didn't say in any of the articles if like this guy is like anti-vax or was he just doing it for the money? But I mean,
that's what I was thinking. It must have been like some type of like extreme like political guy.
I don't know. Like no one, it hasn't been said yet. I mean, maybe it'll come out.
There was definitely some
like
crazies.
This just happened like this past week. So this is like really, really fresh. But I don't understand it because, I mean, this guy's a plastic surgeon, right? I mean, you have a lot to lose. I mean, typically people with a lot to lose don't make seriously stupid decisions. But I mean, I can't identify this as anything else but that. I mean, I get for the people, that maybe had a job where they said get a COVID vaccine or else you're gonna lose your job. But Utah is very conservative. I can't imagine there was a lot of businesses that were saying something like that. Even if they were, as a doctor, I mean, it does go against your Hippocratic Oath to do something like this. I mean, so what's gonna happen to him? Well, he's gonna go to prison, I'm almost certain, because that's a federal crime. I mean, that's a federal crime, and maybe they'll take a plea deal or whatever, but I can't imagine he's not going to lose his license. I mean, as of like yesterday, he was still listed as having a license in Utah, but I'm sure that the medical board is.
I feel like it wasn't like for money because I feel like as a plastic surgeon, you make pretty good.
I mean, generally you do okay. I mean, not that you having to like hustle vaccines, like some scam.
Like, he's almost like a freaking drug dealer. Like
I know, right?
Like a backwards drug dealer.
I'm going to sell you the drug, but I'm not going to give it to you.
But actually, I'm not.
I don't know. And I'll give you a card that says you bought the drug. Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that whole thing. Like, when I read that, I was like scratching my head like, wait, what now? What did he do?
It must have been, he must have,
All right, I'm going to challenge you guys. So how long is it going to be until we have like another terrible story about a plastic surgeon? I mean, we've had like 3 in like a month, right? It's been a bad little time for plastic surgeons. What are you gonna say, Sarah? How long until?
Max not the next one, but the next.
2 weeks?
I think max.
Wow, Travis, what do you think?
I say next week, just cause.
Next week? Oh my God.
I say next week.
All right, I feel like, we've had a bad run of plastic surgeons. I'm gonna give us 4 weeks until we have like another plastic surgeon story.
Right. You know what's funny? I saw another story about like some nurses. I think it was like some nurses. They were giving out fake like nursing degrees. You paid them like
fake nursing
degrees? Like
oh my God,
you paid them like $17,000 and they would give you like, and they got caught, and then now the feds are like tracking everybody who like paid them. So I will say it happens frequently. So I'll say next week we'll have another story.
Well, I would say though specifically to plastics because I'm not.
For sure.
Yeah, next week. Okay, so we got 1 week, 2 weeks, and 4 weeks. All right, we got to remember this. We should write this down.
Well, we got it on video.
We got it on video.
That's right.
We have it
it's even better.
Confirmed.
All right, we'll see. All right, well, crazy story. I don't know what to say about it. Like, I mean, I want to feel bad for the guy, but I mean, it's hard for me to feel bad for somebody who makes just a decision so bad.
Right.
So such a poor decision.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so last week was Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Paris.
And Sarah's going to tell us all about it. And before you start, this is my promise, you guys, to Sarah and Travis. If this show takes off and we hit it really big, the 3 of us are going to go to Paris Fashion Week and cover it. Like, seriously. So if you guys want to see that out there that are watching the show, please like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And let this show take off. And then me, Sarah, and Travis are going to hit Paris. And we're gonna maybe next year. Think it could happen? We get so big that like next year we go to Paris Fashion Week.
I don't know. It's up to them.
Would you hit Paris Fashion Week in the scrubs, or would you?
I would dress up. No, absolutely not. Maybe like if we were gonna do like an episode. No, probably not. If we're at Paris Fashion Week, I'm pulling out my best, and I got some clothes to wear at Paris Fashion Week.
You do.
What about a scrub-cedo? Maybe you can get like
Bedazzled.
Dude, a scrub-cedo. That could be like a new thing, you know? Like we could like, not only are we like a talk show, but we could like be like fashion
trendsetters.
Trendsetters, yes.
You need to perform surgery and also go to a very important meeting at the same time.
The scrub-cedo. I like it, man. That doesn't exist. You got to think outside the box.
Absolutely.
Right? All right, Sarah, tell us about Paris Fashion Week.
Okay, well, I wanted to show a video first because I thought that would be like a good,
I love this video too, by the way.
a good little recap. Right. So if you want to show that,
let's see it, Trellis.
I love my ass and my abs in the video for promiscuous. My style is ridiculous. See us in the club, we acting real nice. See us on the floor, we watching all night. We're here for the vibe.
5 seconds.
So what did y'all think about that? There was some crazy stuff.
I loved
in there.
it. I mean, so I'm like really kind of, I'm into like fashion, I'm into art. I mean, I know a lot of people would look at that and be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen with a sideways dress. I'm like, I appreciate the art.
Yeah, it's art.
The artistry of it. Like, that's not something you obviously wear out to, Nick and Sam's for dinner, but I appreciate the artwork.
Yeah.
Doja Cat and the guy with, I think, like the cement on or like jeans, they were like the ones that stood out the most.
Sick.
Well, you expect the fashion designers and the models to be wearing crazy stuff, but I think it's really fun when celebrities
Dude, I want that to be us.
Too.
Like, when we get really big, like, we're going to dress up like that. We're going to put you in red crystal.
Sure.
Hey man, long-term goals. You gotta like make these goals, right?
But speaking of red crystals, I was going to show you Doja Cat's main looks. So here are her looks that she did.
Sick.
Obviously, the red dress was the one that was talked about the most, and it took forever to get all of those. I think, what are those crystals called?
Swarovski.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
I think I'm saying that correctly.
I don't know how to say it. I'm not.
I think so. Yes.
I think it's Swarovski.
Yeah. So they're like man-made diamonds, right?
They're not diamonds, are they crystals, right?
Crystals or something like that.
Yeah, they're different than diamonds.
Yeah. And so that one was probably her most famous. And then I think it's so funny, that outfit where she's like has like a mustache and a goatee.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
If you like zoom into that picture. At least hilarious. I did. It looks like they're just fake eyelashes really? On her.
I like those sunglasses, the blue ones that she has on. I love sunglasses. I have like an insane collection of sunglasses.
She is such a goob. Like, especially if you follow her on Instagram, like all of these outfits are just very like, she just does what she wants 24/7.
That's cool. I love like people like that. Like musicians are like that. They're just like, I'm gonna do whatever and everyone can just like it or not.
But she's just really goofy. I don't know. I love her. But anyways, she doesn't have any, she recently, like maybe 2 weeks ago, shaved her eyebrows like completely off. And then she started like doing all these crazy designs for her eyebrows. And I was just like, what are you doing? Yeah, she's like, her eyebrows would match her outfits.
That's awesome.
It was like an accessory.
Do you remember like, you guys maybe not remember. Remember back in the 90s when Vanilla Ice like shaved his eyebrows? So I went to, one Halloween, I went as Vanilla Ice. And I was gonna do that. And my wife's like, no, you're not.
Little like things.
The notches. She's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm like, what? Come on. Like, it's part of the outfit.
Yeah. And then the next favorite, there she is, Kylie Jenner.
Oh, yeah. Look at the lion thing.
Yeah, that one was really.
Is that like a real lion? Do you know? Did you find out?
She would never.
Well, like, is it like real? I mean, like they taxidermy animals, and I didn't know.
It's not real.
So it's completely fake. Okay, well,
she would have gotten like red paint thrown on her for sure.
I mean, I feel like if you're gonna do something like, you should go all in and have like. I feel like she should have been out there like skinning the lion.
Yeah.
The funniest part about that dress though is like you show up with a lion head on, and then somebody else show up at the party with a similar lion head on.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that happened. Is she went to the fashion
who was that
show.
With her?
Who?
Well, wasn't there two? It was her and someone else.
They weren't together, I don't think, though.
Yeah, so
Get out of here. Two people showed up with a lion dress?
She went to a fashion show that was that made that dress.
And they made one for someone else?
Well, she wore it off the runway, so it was designed off after a dress that's on the runway. So she was sitting there in her seat watching the show, and one of the models was wearing it. There's a really funny TikTok.
But they didn't
of her watching
coordinate
her.
that?
I don't know.
Holy crap.
Everybody's like, oh, she looks so awkward, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, or Kylie Jenner has, to me, always looks like she's smelling a fart. Like, she's just like, her face is always very like, I don't know, like, she always looks like she's just like very like, she smells.
She's like put out.
Is it RBF?
Yeah, she just always looks
RBF,
very.
right?
Yeah,
RBF.
I have RBF too, but she's always looks like she smelled something like really.
People
bad.
are out there watching this, being like, "What's RBF?" Just Google it, people.
I
Just Google it.
I don't know.
Just take our word.
All of her outfits are really Kylie Jenner to the T.
I mean, I
very
like
Kardashian, I guess, but like I think the lion one was
the lion
very
one stands
out.
out.
Her
I like
more.
the which looks like the leather kind of dominatrix one too.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
pretty
cute.
cool.
I liked all of them.
Yeah,
I
they all do
would
look
never
good.
wear a lion on my. Even though I'm a Leo, I would
You
never.
you
wear
have to
that.
do it then.
Yeah, as a Halloween costume, for sure. But this might be like their version. And then there's Noah Cyrus. This is Miley Cyrus's little sister.
Oh, I was like, wait, who is that? Okay, so that's Miley Cyrus.
So the one with the chain is like straight up. She is not wearing like it does not cover her boobs at all.
Oh,
it's
really?
just the chain is there, so her nips were just out
Hanging
for
out.
everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a free world these
Whatever.
days. Like,
yeah,
free
and then
the nip,
obviously
right?
she has no eyebrows, or they are
no eyebrows.
dyed blonde, or something.
She kind of looks like, in
But-
that third picture, she looks like Morticia Adams. Like, she kind of looks like Morticia Adams just baseline, but
Yes.
like in the third one, she really looks like Morticia
she's
Adams.
she chose to wear a lot of dark colors.
It's kind of like
but-
the high-level goth fashion.
Yeah.
Which I like that, honestly. I like, kind of different stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't dislike any of the outfits.
But yeah, these were like the top 3 like celebrities that actually went to a lot of the events and had
Yeah.
like a different outfit for each event
Dude, we're
that
going to
they
have to
went
plan
to.
for us next year.
So yeah, I would definitely aim for a mixture of all of them.
Yeah.
Definitely not walk around with my boobs out and only a necklace to show it.
I mean, once you're a celebrity, though, then, it's different, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just
You
going
can
to
do
let
what you
my
want,
boobs hang
for
out.
sure.
All right.
And then this slide, these are actually some trends that were going on in the show.
Is that third one a peacock feather? Like?
Yeah, except I think it's very like metal.
Oh, it's metal.
Ish.
I get the trend, right? I don't know the right word for it, but you have this kind of like
Dramatic neckline.
That's it? I would call that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than that. It's almost like a flower coming up,
Yeah.
like a tulip, petal
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I mean, some of them really would, obviously you would not wear.
Yeah,
especially,
it's not.
but like some of them are really
wearable,
cool, like that dress on the far right. Like I just love the shape of it and like the color differentiation in it.
Yeah,
and,
that's definitely more of a wearable dress.
yeah. I mean, the runway is always a little,
Yeah,
odd,
but
but
to take away from
yes, you could
this
make a
is
dress.
dramatic
Yeah.
neckline.
You could make a dress that would be wearable that had similar styles to this.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
They all look kind of like lampshades, like just different
Upside
versions
down
of
lampshades,
lampshades.
yeah.
For truths. For truth. And then what's this
Ooh,
trend?
that's
Can you
sleek
tell?
green. It's almost like, is that like crushed velvet or something?
Yeah, it's velvet. So
Oh, yeah.
there was a
Dude.
lot of velvet.
Boom.
Yeah, a lot of velvet, and I love velvet, so
I like
you
velvet
can't
too.
go wrong with velvet.
I need a velvet jacket.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
a
surprised
texture
you
guy.
don't.
I'm a texture guy, so
Are you?
anytime I see velvet, I
dude.
have to like.
Travis, you would love
Touch
this
it.
jacket that I just got. I'm going to have to, I keep forgetting to bring a picture. I'm going to wear it
Yeah.
tonight. I'm going to bring a picture. You guys
I
have to.
like velvet.
It's not velvety, but it feels like
Soft.
like animal hair, yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Oh,
dope. Yeah, I like texture.
Nice. What's
All
the
right.
next one?
Let's see here. Boom.
What trend is this?
I mean, that just looks like satin chic, It's like kind of a gloss
Yeah,
with like some
close.
ruffles.
It's metallic.
Oh, I was gonna say metallic.
Oh, metallic. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Travis. I didn't mean to steal your
no,
thunder,
no,
bro.
you were
can go
good.
next. I'm
You
sorry.
were good.
Yeah,
so
I like
this
that.
is metallic. These, I think all of them are really pretty dresses. Obviously, you've got
Look,
that.
the third one has
that
like metallic
neckline.
plus the
Yeah.
reverse neck or upsweeping neckline.
Yeah, the dramatic neck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dramatic neckline.
And then what's this trend? Do you know, Travis?
Is it sheer?
No.
I mean, it's definitely some
That's
sheer. I forget the
definitely-
word
that's
for it,
definitely
but
a
like
trend.
it's where like the fabric is like almost like strands.
It's. I mean, yeah, that's a trend too. But it's
Oh, there's
just
different-
beading.
It's what?
Beading. beading.
Beading. Oh, beading. Okay, cool.
So it's
cool,
another
cool.
like texture thing. So
I mean, I love those, man. You have to like have like some serious, what's the right word? Confidence to wear something like that. But like if I saw somebody like at a party wearing something like that, I would be instantly like, hey, tell me about yourself, right? Because it's it's so, it's kind of like, it's so interesting. It's like just like a talking piece.
Yeah, like the one that it looks like she's just wearing jewels.
Yeah.
A lot of the trends right now are you wear like a dress or like a top or something that's very plain, and then you put that on top of it.
Yeah, but that looks great.
Yeah, so that's like a way to wear that trend without.
Do you carry stuff like that in your store with like the beading?
No, that would be.
You should. That would
it would
probably
be a hard time to sell in Denton. Like if I owned a boutique in Dallas where people are like buying clothes and then going out to fancy places.
Like in Denton's more of like grunge, right? It's like,
Denton's way more chill. So I sell mostly like casual.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yes. If I had a boutique in Dallas, I would definitely be buying all of the bougie things.
Yeah.
And then this one's a hard one, but you can try to guess.
It's not beading.
It looks like beading again, but it's just now my brain's going blank. It's jewelry, but it's the dramatic jewelry. So like big earrings, and then obviously
it almost looks like I think of like something almost like
headdress
Egyptian.
almost.
Like you see. I mean, of course, obviously. They don't have pictures of it, but you see like the representation of like ancient Egypt, and they have like the jewels coming down and stuff, or almost like Persia, something like that.
Yeah,
it's very exotic. It's very exotic
big
looking.
jewels.
Yeah,
like either you have like big earrings or a big fat necklace, or in this case, she has a big. She has like that like a hat, headdress thing. And then this is the last one, I think.
No, there's one more.
Oh, okay, just kidding.
It's like Wednesday Addams.
No,
what is that?
Look at their
texture.
Look at their feet. Oh. It has to do with their shoes.
Like high heels?
Pointed toes.
Pointed toes, yeah. So a lot of, like most of all of the models had pointy toes. The model that has more of this, like on the right, she has the wedge on, but apparently it is a pointed wedge.
Pointed wedge.
A pointed wedge. That sounds very comfortable. Sounds very.
Most heels are so comfortable. Didn't you know that?
No, I don't think they are.
Sounds like extreme comfort. A pointed wedge.
Okay, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Can you guess this trend?
I do like those.
Is it the patterns?
No.
Man, this is
all of them have it.
Oh, the bow tie.
Yes.
Duh.
It's a bow tie.
Bow ties. Yes, I'm looking at their dresses.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was too.
Wow, female bow ties. Okay, I like that. That's different.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've yet to see anybody out with that.
I think this one's from, it's either Chanel or Dior. I can't remember which.
I'm going to be on the lookout now for
literally almost all of their models were wearing bow ties.
Really? Wow.
Dior bow ties.
Interesting.
Like
or it's Chanel. I can't remember.
I like it either
I mean,
way.
all that stuff is so cool. I mean, I think that, I mean, yes, like some of it is just outlandish, but I mean, just the artistry of it and like the creation process. I mean, it kind of goes along with plastic surgery, right? Or being a plastic surgeon, like you're creating something. And so I really
mean,
think
it's just
awesome.
Things to take away from those trends are just like you say like the dramatic neckline, maybe just. But to wear it in like for life, maybe just more of a interesting neckline.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Not so crazy. Yeah.
Crazy,
I mean,
but maybe like more interesting, eccentric neckline, but not something wearable.
That's how all fashion week is, though. It's like these are the extreme versions, and then the versions that hit the boutiques are like toned down.
Right.
I mean, who's gonna wear a sideways dress, right?
Yeah.
Not many people,
know.
but. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And so, like, our goal is like we got to get popular enough that we can, take the show to Paris next year.
And then ask all the models what kind of plastic surgery they've
That's right. Yeah. We can ask about fashion.
Wow.
And so, who's your plastic surgeon?
It's gonna happen. We're gonna manifest it. Put it in there
All right.
quick too, Dr. Herman.
Yeah.
Going back to I think the plastic surgery, the plastic surgeon who got in trouble.
Yeah.
The boss's boss, Cindy Hermann. She commented and said, "It's sad to think that this happened, especially since this was likely going on when vaccines first came out.
Yeah.
And access was extremely limited.
Right, that's true, right? Because there were a lot of people who wanted
straight up wasting it.
vaccines that couldn't get them, and this guy's there wasting them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you for that comment, Cindy.
It's the
We're
boss's
going to that
boss.
party tonight. It's going to happen. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave us a comment. We would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we will see you next week on Nip Talk.